and waited until his senior year. He got a chance to start, played extremely well, and then ended up not with what, and mind you, he may make it to the NFL or, do something great, so it may work out perfectly for him, but it's the expectation, and things changed around him, so now parents are much more focused on, hold up, I got to play early, because if you want to get recruited now, the recruiting process starts a lot earlier, which makes it a little more incorrect, but there's a lot of pressure in that now.
George, I'll tell you what, man. I could talk to you about this stuff all day. Maybe I'll call you on my ride home. But we got to get the break, and when we come back, we'll wrap the show. One segment left. Want your quick thoughts on next Sunday's game. Aaron Torres in for Dan Byer alongside George Reister, Fox Sports Radio.
We're going to Las Vegas for Super Week. And we know there will be temptations for some of our hosts. I'm available. That's why we're keeping a close eye on Rob Parker, who's walking around with a duffel bag full of singles. It's Super Week in Vegas on Fox Sports Radio.
What if you could build a six-figure retirement income with almost half the money saved? You heard that right. Get a discount on your retirement, creating a six-figure income with 40% less than traditional 401ks and mutual funds. Hi, I'm Brett Kitchen, best-selling author and star in a new Hollywood documentary called The Baby Boomer Dilemma. In this film, economists and Nobel Prize-winning PhDs share a strange concept I call the retirement discount. It gives you more retirement income with the same dollar saved, and your money is never at risk if the market crashes. That's right. If the market crashes 30%, you lose nothing. Even people who are on track have shifted money to this new strategy because it increases their retirement income or can allow them to stop working years sooner. So if you're over 50 and want a bigger, better retirement with less money, call to get a free copy of this brand new movie, The Baby Boomer Dilemma, at 1-800-506-2020. This is a $30 value, but when you call today, you'll get it completely free, plus 2 hours of bonus behind-the-scenes footage. I'll even cover shipping and handling, no credit card required. So don't delay, call right now, 1-800-506-2020. That's 1-800-506-2020, 1-800-506-2020.
So, how's your research going?
Surprising! After I figured out the top-rated TVs in our price range, I went shopping for deals.
And who's the best?
It wasn't the internet, and it wasn't the warehouse club.
But?
It was video only. They had better deals on the Samsung, LG, and the Sony TVs that got the highest scores.
Better than online and at the club?
I know! Video only beat them all. And now we can afford an even better model for the same price. My research really paid off.
If we buy it video only.
Exactly. Otherwise, we'll be sorry.
Take my money.
You won't find huge stores with refrigerators or microwaves. You will find the best deals on top-rated TVs, soundbars, and monitors. Shop around. Just make sure you visit video only. Because if you don't...
Video only.
In Mountain View, San Mateo, Union City, Dublin, and San Rafael. Video only.
At Merrill West Credit Union, we're working towards a brighter financial future
San
for both our
Mateo.
members and our community.
That's where Tom Brady went to high school.
We'll succeed. Let's get acquainted with our premier savings for new members.
Aaron
Now
Rodgers.
paying over 20 times the national average. Another great reason to move your money to a credit union. Learn more at merrillwest.com/premier savings. Merrill West Credit Union, working for you. Today, tomorrow, together. Insured by NCUA, made to shine. Love stories from Shane Company customers.
My wife's been working long weekends, so instead of just taking her
Damn,
out
Elena
to dinner on
Cybertron's
Thursday,
not online
I'm going
anymore.
to surprise her with a gift from Shane Company. I stopped by, and they showed me some really beautiful...
Elena Cybertron was used in my 49ers top 10 worst season videos. I have more questions for her.
Our diamonds are hand-matched for consistency and sparkle, so your love will shine forever. Shane Company, fine jewelry since 1929.
Now it's time for the closer of the week. Presented by LiftMaster and R&S Doors. Turn your garage into the envy of the neighborhood. Visit rsdoors.com. This week's closer comes from Roscoe from Richmond. Pedro Munoz and Pedro Garcia did a great job in their annual inspections for UC Berkeley. They are very professional and knowledgeable in their craft. Highly recommended. A+. Recently, my garage door opener was not working. I was in need of a closer.
Welcome,
I was put in touch with R&S Doors.
Fishman. Hit the like, press subscribe, show the channel some love. Come on now, what are you waiting for? Wow, a like, okay. We got Fox Sports Radio. I'm playing One Punch Man on iPad. Good graphics. Wow, real action, better than the game you play. It's the best game of all time. All time.
Give your business a head start in 2024. Get started with fast speeds and advanced security for $49.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Switch today. Institute 21
Cheers, welcome, thank you.
New customers only with 50 megabits per second internet and security edge. Eco bill and auto pay required. Taxes and fees extra. Prepaid card requires premium internet.
Oh, this cold.
Honey.
Honey?
I'm doing auto battles.
Severe honey.
You don't really want to watch.
Gives you powerful cold and flu symptom relief with a honeylicious taste. Because life doesn't stop for a cold. Okay, I'm ready to go.
No, I am getting a cold.
Honey. Try Dayquil Severe Honey for powerful cold and flu relief. Dayquil Severe with honey flavor. The daytime coughing, aching, stuffy head fever. Honeylicious powers your day medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach.
Based auto battles, yeah, auto battles. But I can still manually do battle. I do my manual battles. When I have to. Where's my phone at?
We're Fox Sports Radio, the premier sports lineup in the nation. To find FS1 on your television,
Oh.
go to foxsports.com. for
You're on the
details.
phone. My phone. I can play on the phone too. So
FS1.
do some things on the iPad, some things on the phone.
Welcome back, everybody. Fox Sports Radio, Fox Sports Sunday. Aaron Torres in for Dan Byer
Look
alongside
back.
George Reister. We're taking you up till the top of the hour. Following us, Mark Willard and Kyle Rudolph. Cannot wait to listen to those guys. Cannot wait.
The Steelers quarterback is going to be on the show.
Yeah, Super Bowl coming up. Mark, of course, based out of San
Not
Francisco.
bad, not bad. I'll listen to Kyle Rudolph.
NFL tight end. This is the tight end.
That's my favorite Steelers quarterback.
Like you and Kyle got a little bit beat,
Yes.
former tight ends, NFL. No, I'm just kidding. Absolutely not. Well, I'll tell you what, man. First of all, George, it's been a
Oh,
pleasure, man. I hope
calm
you know,
down,
safe
calm down,
travels
One Punch
to
Man.
Vegas. I hope
We're playing
you
One-
have fun, but not too
One
much
Punch
fun.
Man.
Jealous, as I said earlier in the show. What's like? When do you get into town? Like, what's the first?
What's your man
big
playing?
itinerary?
I just want to know, hey, what game is your man playing? That Pal World, Enshrouded, some 20-year-old World of Warcraft? Is he playing in on Steam?
On that day, so then I am going
What's your
to
man playing?
immediately food. Sure, immediately food, because so it'll be breakfast, and I have to film it because for everybody that does not know, you guys can head on over to
Don't
the
know.
Unafraid Show on YouTube or listen to the Unafraid Show, which is
The YouTube takeover.
Radio podcast over.
Oh,
wherever
we're this
podcasts
radio
are.
is on YouTube.
And then I do a segment called Lunch Break.
Oh, okay.
And so in there, we go somewhere, get some good food, talk it up, give a review, and then we go from there.
Wow. Okay. So you got a little food thing going on.
Another
here.
10 auto battles coming up.
So,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
you could literally do 50 segments out in Vegas. How many do you actually plan on doing? Well, you're
3. Because well, 2. One of them though is gonna be with this lady named. If you follow her on Instagram, her name is Vegas Starfish.
Vegas
And there's this guy
Starfish.
named Las Vegas Field. And they are huge foodies out there. They're super
Big
connected
foodies.
out there. So we're gonna go film
The
some
food
content, eat
mafia.
some dope food. So I'm excited about
You know,
that too.
ripping people off just to eat. That's what they do.
Dude, covering sports, get a chance to get paid to talk about sports, and then get paid to eat.
well, I don't get paid to eat yet.
I don't get paid to eat.
but
I have to pay to eat.
It's one thing, Georgia. I know being a little cliche here, but it's something
People
I
are
try to never ever
These
take
people
for
are
granted.
funny.
By the
What are
way,
you talking
goes
about?
without saying, we appreciate
I
everybody
get paid
listening
to
us
eat.
here on a Sunday.
You get
Appreciate
paid
everybody
to
who tunes
lie.
to the network. It's like I never take that for granted, man. And it's
That
like,
shit's good.
It's one thing whenever
Mm,
I
that
do a show
shit's
here on
good.
Sports Radio, do my own show,
It
whatever.
ain't good,
You always gotta
man.
remember that there's a lot of people that, less fortunate's not the right word because they have jobs or they're in an office. Or
Less
they're in
fortunate they have
a
jobs.
factory or
They
whatever.
have to work.
So I just try to do my best to be entertaining, try to have fun.
I mean,
And
this
I
radio
certainly
is-
had fun with you this afternoon, man. I appreciate Dan letting me sit in. Real quick, obviously a week from now the game will be probably going on at this point. What are you looking for? What do you make of this matchup? Obviously, it's a rematch of a few years ago, but what are the one or two things that you're kind of intrigued by and looking for in this game?
Oh man, I'm looking forward to see how. Well, if the Kansas City offense can get going, because they have
Pressure on Brock Purdy. That's what we're looking at.
And this, literally all season. I'm not sure if they've had one game all year that you look at and you're like, oh yeah, that looks great. That looks perfect. That's the way an offense.
One
is
more
supposed to
fight
run.
and I hit
So
level
if Kansas City
32
can
on
get
my
that
account.
one time this whole
32.
season, and then on the 49ers side, if they can not let Kansas City get in front, and then Brock Purdy can go be special. Because if he's going to have to be special to win against this Kansas City defense, because I do think that they're going to be able to
This
stop
is the
run.
Travis Kelce
And,
show.
And Kyle Shanahan's not going
He's
to
got
go away from
142
run,
catches.
or at least he better
Jerry
not.
Rice had 141. It doesn't matter. Every time Kelsey catches the ball,
Yes,
Jerry Rice is gonna die inside.
Them being
His
off
number goes.
with their bye week.
Yeah.
Going into the playoffs, and now they essentially have another.
Jamar Chase has
bye
45
week.
catches in 7
something about
games.
that and them getting healthy, 'cause
If he
Christian
played
McCaffrey got banged up at the end. Debo
21
too,
games
so
like Kelsey, he
we'll
would
see.
have
Yeah, it's interesting.
135 catches, which is still less. So
The Green Bay thing, and you think, oh, it's just
Kelsey's
one
pace
thing,
is
blah, 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 and then, of course, they
over
still
6
flash
catches
it.
a
But
game.
listen,
He's gonna
these are
have
the
probably
opposite
6
well.
6 to
Very
9
nice comeback
catches.
wins. They deserve credit for that.
Pencil him in
Super Bowl
4 or
next
9,
weekend
just
in
like the
Vegas. We'll have
49ers.
on-the-ground coverage
Kelsey
all
will
week
have
long. As I
4
said,
catches
a lot of our
or
crew,
9
George
catches
Stotts,
at
Scott
least.
Shapiro, our boss,
Minimum.
they are already in Vegas.
So he's
George,
gonna
we
hit
gotta
has a
man.
chance to hit 150 receptions lifetime. Or 145.
Ryan, Monty, and George, man, I like I said, I had a blast. I appreciate you letting me sit in, man. I appreciate it, and safe travels to Vegas. That's all I really got.
Yes, sir.
Safe travel to
All right,
Vegas. That's what it's all about. Is the show starts in Japan, 12 hours.
Coming up next, Kyle Rudolph, Mark Willard.
Kyle Rudolph up next. I'm excited to have Kyle Rudolph on my show.
At Granger, we're for the ones who specialize in saving the day.
Steeler fans can come here and find it.
We offer industrial grade supplies for every industry, with same day pickup and next day delivery on most orders. All backed by
Get my
real
Rudolphs
people
mixed up. Kyle Rudolph, Mason Rudolph.
right when you need them. Call quickgranger.com.
What's the difference?
Granger, for the ones who get it done.
You're all set with your Medicare prescriptions, Mrs. Brown.
This is not just low-cost copays at Walgreens.
I can actually help you set up 90-day refills if you want.
This is having a partner you can trust. Get low-cost copays, 90-day refills, and delivery from your neighborhood Walgreens. This is being independent.
Yeah,
Together.
YouTube recommended your channel to me. What kind of content do I like, Teddy?
Are you curious about who offers the best deals on
Okay. I live in San Francisco. This is a football channel. You can tell by my icon. I was born in Los Angeles. I like Rams football. I like video game. I like armies. I like the luxurious retirement community. I like snitches who give industrial espionage. I have, I like top security clearance. I like traveling the world. I like war in Iran. Should I put all my money on KFC? I know. From San Francisco, we expect to win. Fuck them. Fuck them. Put all your money against them. And then, I mean, you have nothing to lose. If you're gambling, just go with the Niners, man. Go with the Niners. Go with my city. My city is better than their city. Do I look like I'm in Kansas City? Am I in No, I'm not. No, I'm not in Kansas City. Matter of fact, nobody wants to go to Kansas City. Niners should go all the way. I mean, yes, California all the way. It's not just the 49ers, but it's still the West. It doesn't matter who wins the West because it's just a little showdown between two Western teams. The West has already taken over. It's a ceremonial. It's a rematch. The North, the South, and the East had no chance. It doesn't matter. They're already gone. So it's just, what do you like? Do you really, I expect in the home of the Raiders, this is about taking it to the Raiders. And this is not about Kansas City. What do the Raider fans want? The Raider fans should be begging San Francisco, please beat these Chiefs for us. I haven't heard it. So the writing is on the wall that San Francisco has already paid for everything. So I expect us to win. I don't want to see these guys coming back. I'm very, very hostile. I hate the 49ers. That's why they better win this game. The Chiefs already beat these fools. Brock Purdy's not tall enough. He's gonna get, just bet it's about Brock and the Chiefs defensive line. If they get to him, it's over, man. Deebo Samuels is not even going to get 100 receiving yards according to the over/under bets. The biggest prop bet is whether or not Deebo Samuels is going to have 88 yards. That's the kind of joke. Oh, he's going to have 88 yards. What's that? One play? You can get that in one play. They project this guy to have a single play. So they're not projecting Deebo to have 100 plus, because you can't get over 100 on one play. Okay. Now Travis Kelce, bro, that guy's going for 100, bro. He going for 100. He's gonna be touching the ball all day. And the Chiefs should win. The Chiefs should win because it's easier to funnel your offense through one guy instead of Deebo. Deebo's hurt. Deebo with the separated shoulder. McCaffrey with the left ankle. Brock Purdy, he gets hurt in every damn game. So somebody's coming out on the stretcher. If I don't see the stretcher in the first quarter, I'll be pissed. This is my 10th auto battle. My 10th, now it'll stop. I'll have to restart my auto battles again. My power level is not high, not at the correct level for stage 7-1 on day 5. I'm working World 7-1. It's versus Custom Yo, my favorite, the car monster. Custom Yo. 640. The car's Custom Yo 649, just like 6 touchdowns for the 49ers. Yeah, that's what it means. Yo MK2. My best friend is a 49er fan. So I always keep him up to date on how the city feels about our team. double check what you just said. Have you ever had a power level over 9,000? The original translation was 8,000. The American translation was 9,000. I do like classic DBZ. It's a strange show, but God, every damn Dragon Ball game by Namco. That's why this game is made by Crunchyroll, because they separate this cartoon from that cartoon, and those cartoons are made on Namco, and we're more likely to see Goku or Vegeta in Tekken. We're more likely to see a proper Dragon Ball Tekken 8 DLC than we are to see a One Punch Man Tekken 8 DLC, as I predicted. But as I was throwing a curveball, we were given the better game entirely. We got the entire better game engine with the Gundam Namco. This is the Gundam engine on a Attack on Titan Village engine with the gacha engine from the prior One Punch Man I was playing. So I mean, I have massive amounts of experience with this game system. This is my dream. I knew this would happen. I know my favorite car. When the new Attack on Titan comes out, I'm playing it. Okay? Because I have experience playing Attack on Titan games. It takes more skill to play Attack on Titan than it takes to play Spider-Man. But it's a very similar game to Spider-Man. It's better than this shit. So I went to high school with 49er fans, so I always keep them up to date on what's in the city. And we cranked the radio, local 95.7.
Or watching the New York Yankees or the LA Lakers, the Boston Celtics, all these teams that show sustained greatness over time. And I find myself rooting for it. I have really no allegiance to, as a kid, a professional sports team. Growing up in Cincinnati, Ohio, we didn't have an NBA team, and the Reds and the Bengals were just not very good. So for me, I loved watching the Cowboys as a kid in the 90s.
I never knew this guy was from Cincinnati.
Teams that were really good. Like you said, you know what you're going to get. You know what to expect when you turn on these teams that have sustained greatness. I am one, and I agree with your point that you hear it quite a bit. I'm so sick of the Kansas City Chiefs, but I don't know.
I love the Chiefs. I love them.
Why wouldn't you want to watch Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl? He's one of the most exciting
greatest
players in our game, and there's nothing better than seeing the best players in our game on the biggest stage.
Mark Willard, Kyle Rudolph with you tonight. It's good to be back with you, buddy. I appreciate you guys holding it down for me. I would have been absolutely no help to you last Sunday. This is one of those nights where I'm like, I better just let somebody else do this, because that would have been ridiculous distraction to try to do that during the NFC Championship game, particularly with a team coming back from a 24-7 deficit. So it was great to hear you and Aaron Torres a little bit do your thing, and I appreciate it so much. And I can't wait to dive into everything that is not only going on but has gone on. I want to revisit that Lions-Niners game a little bit later on tonight too, because I really would love to hear your perspective on the way things went down. We are broadcasting live from the TireRack.com studios, TireRack.com. We'll help you get there. An unmatched selection, cost-free shipping, free road hazard protection, and over 10,000 recommended installers. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be. It's interesting though. It's not that I don't get it. Maybe sometimes when this happens in the NFL, like you even just said, when we're watching the Patriots, I'm thinking this is never happening again. And now maybe it kind of is. We're still kind of on the front end of it, but clearly Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs are the class of the league now for a 5-year run. And maybe when this happens in the NFL, it bugs us a little bit more than in other places because this is the place where we don't expect it. We always hear parity in the NFL. You got a hard cap. Green Bay, Wisconsin can compete with New York. And so it's an even playing field. We're very used to this in the NBA. Where LeBron goes, where Michael Jordan goes, sometimes it's Steph Curry, whatever. You're like, I know that team is pretty much going to be there in the end. But in the NFL, we're under the impression that it reboots every year and new teams have a chance. And when a guy like Mahomes does this, it sort of challenges our NFL senses a little bit.
It does, and like you talked about some of the other sports, whether it's baseball and, the Yankees and the Dodgers and the Red Sox and the Padres can spend more money than everyone else and put the best team in baseball that money can buy on the field. In basketball, you have your superstars that form these superpower teams with multiple superstars on them. We follow those teams and we expect your A-list quality players to be there.
This is from Oregon. This is made in Oregon.
And then, like you said, in football, it's about parity. Everything that we have is structured to even the playing field after each year. The draft is set up the way it's set up. We don't have a lottery. There is no chance that a team that maybe just misses the playoffs could get the first overall pick. They will be the 17th or 18th overall pick. There's no chance for them in this lottery system that the NBA has. So, to me, it really does. And Aaron and I talked about this a little bit last week. When you look at what Patrick Mahomes has done over the course of his first 6 years as a starter, we talked about it. They're not on the verge. They're at 4 out of 5 Super Bowls. So they're playing in their 4th Super Bowl in 5 years. And if it wasn't for our
4 out of 5.
your former 49er D Ford lining up off sides in the 2018 AFC Championship game, they would be going to 5 out of 6. And when you look at Patrick Mahomes, he'd be one Joe Burrow loss away from going to the Super Bowl every year that he's been the starting quarterback. And, I remember when, Tom and the Patriots went to 10 straight AFC Championship games. And, that started my rookie year in 2011. And I knew a couple guys that got drafted in New England that year that we had the same agent. We got
Figure it out
through the draft process. And I was just sitting there thinking to myself, I'm like, you guys, every year you've played, you've been in an AFC Championship game. Like, it's ridiculous the amount of sustained success that you've had throughout the course of your career. And then you have all these other guys across the league. I think back to Tony Gonzalez, one of the greatest tight ends ever play. I remember watching his playoff game in 2012, just rooting for the Atlanta Falcons because I wanted
love the Falcons.
Greatest tight end that ever played the game to finally win a playoff game. And so when you think about how the league is set up to create parity, and then not only once the parity is created, how hard it is to make the playoffs and win playoff games, and yet we see the Kansas City Chiefs just honestly make it look easy. All year long, we talked about there's no way this Chiefs team is going to be able to have success in the playoffs. Their offense just isn't good
Amazing
enough anymore.
team.
Yeah, the defense is giving them a chance, but unless they figure it out on offense, there's no way. And here we are. They're back
Hey,
in the
everybody
Super Bowl
can
again.
beat Buffalo.
You know,
Don't worry
everyone
about it.
counted them out.
Don't be
And
confused.
that's
Everybody
what
has
greatness
beaten
is all
Buffalo.
about. And to me, that's why
Shit.
I think it's so enjoyable to root for greatness and to watch greatness and to witness greatness, because I know how hard it is to do what they're doing.
Kyle, this is Steve in studio, and while we redial Mark in the Bay Area, storms in Northern California, as
Storms
well as
is
Southern
wet
California
outside.
today, I will use a Bay Area example in his stead. And the fact is, he's a Warriors fan. I'm not.
I'm not.
sick of Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City, just like I'm not sick of Steph Curry and Golden State. It's what you say, greatness, and it's entertaining greatness. And the theory that was proffered at the start of the segment that people would get tired of this, I think March Madness is a good example. With college hoops, we think we want to see George Mason in the Final
Come
Four.
on,
And then when
Buster
George Mason is
Rod,
actually in the
right.
Final Four, people are saying, how come I can't
Come
see
on,
Kentucky or
man.
Kansas
Come
or
on
whoever
now.
there? You with me on this?
Steve, I'm with you. And it's funny you say that because I couldn't agree with you more. Like, when you watch March Madness, you want the Cinderella in the Sweet 16, and then it's like, please exit stage right.
It's my birthday in
glad that
March.
you
I
made
don't
your
care about
Cinderella
anything
run
else, man. Come
in
on.
the first 2 rounds,
Look,
and we
look,
had all the
look.
upsets.
I don't watch college basketball because my brother's birthday is on the 12th and my birthday is on the 25th. I don't care about nothing else in March, man. Grew up in California. March Madness, that's East Coast. Maybe because they always lose the Super Bowl and they can't have a Super Bowl. You fuck them. You know what I'm saying? Put a damn roof on your damn stadium. Stop being so damn cheap. You're the one with no roof. They're the one with no roof. They have no roof and they want. During the pandemic, the Steelers had the locker room. They had no locker rooms. Because they're full of weights and shit. They had nowhere to practice. Because they waste this indoor space. Their indoor space is full of nothing. They got nothing. I'm the 8th out of 10th auto battle, yeah. Are they done with the They can't be done talking about college yet.
I mean, isn't it perfect that I'm like, man, we want things we can count on, and then boom, everything explodes. Steve,
Well, they're not even playing golf. They're not even playing golf out there at Pebble, so we know the storms are bad.
No, Steve, you guys are exactly right. It is intense.
I hit the
Here in Northern
EXP cap.
California today, gale force winds. Everything's canceled, and not this show. Everything else is canceled, though. So I'm glad we've got something that, at least for the moment, is kicking around, and we'll hang in there as long as we can. Even appreciate you having my back. But heard everything you said there, and I think you're spot on. It's one of those things that it's like I know that it feels like a villain, but sometimes when it comes to entertainment, you want a villain. You like, even if you're like, I'm sick of the chief, I'm rooting against them. Great. You need that. You need something to root against. If neither of these teams are your
If you don't like San Francisco, that's fine. Maybe you don't like me. You need to not like me.
It's funny, we were just talking about villains on the Friday night show, and some of us said, Darth Vader might be the best villain ever in movie history.
Darth Vader.
Come up with some other one, the Joker, Hannibal Lecter, whatever. The villain kind of makes the hero movie. So you're right. If you've got something to root against, well, and let me go back to one of the great phrases from the old time sports writers, like 80, 100 years ago, that the two best stories in sports are big guy wins or big guy loses. If you have someone to root for or root against, either way, they're getting eyeballs, right?
Yeah, it goes back to the 2 decades of the New England Patriots, or before that in the 90s, early 2000s, the New York Yankees. It's the saying, either you love them or you hate them, but one way or the other, you're talking about them. You're watching them, and you're either rooting for or against them, and that's what makes sports what they are. And again, I feel like for myself personally, I just have such an appreciation for what.
I only have one Morale character.
Or what the New England Patriots did for 2 decades, because having been in it for 12 years, I know how hard it is to not only win a division, make the playoffs, make AFC, NFC championship games, and honestly make Super Bowls, which in 12 years, I never did one time. We're talking about a guy who should be in the Super Bowl 5 out of 6 years, had a defensive end just lined up on sides on a 3rd and long. But here he is, 4 out of the last 5 years playing in the Super Bowl and going for his 3rd ring, which is incredible considering he's only been a starter for 6 years.
Let's hit the break now as we're quarter past the hour. It is 8:16 Eastern, 5:16 Pacific. I bring up the time because we are within, an hour of the Chiefs landing in Vegas, and San Francisco's due to land in Vegas next hour.
1
The Super
hour.
Bowl next Sunday in Las Vegas, Super Bowl 58, Kansas City, San Francisco. We'll be back with more of tonight's show on Fox Sports Radio.
So hype, man.
Now it's all about
Bro, it's so hype.
leading you up to the big kickoff in Vegas. Go down from the betting angles. Papa loves to bet overs on everything. To the halftime show hype. The Super Bowl halftime. Then the best Super Bowl in-game and post-game coverage. We're Fox Sports Radio. Looking for a super offer for Super Bowl 58? DraftKings Sportsbook has you covered. New customers can bet on the big game and turn $5 into $200 instantly in bonus.
The 49ers and Chiefs airplanes are in the air. Both teams are flying right now. Your man doesn't know that. Does your man know that? I don't think your man knows that. Well, I know that. God damn, I know everything. Shit. You gamers need a motherfucking Sony radio. Get your Sony FM radio and an Xbox. And you set up. You don't need a Sony PlayStation because it has no radio, okay? Because the thing that Sony does, and the way all the kids, they don't even have, they still don't even have one. You PlayStation owners, you have no Sony radios, man. Why would I listen to you, man? You on the Sony thing, but you don't know anything, okay? I don't have a PlayStation. Let me tell you what the Sony is talking about, okay? It's telling me to score the game and shit.
Entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and of course suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist. Switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. Become your own soulmate, whether you're looking for one or not. Visit BetterHelp.com/succeed today and get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp.com/succeed.
What happens when a legend leaves at the top of his game to pursue his own path? In sports, it leads to some of the most memorable moments. And in the world of whiskey, it can create remarkable
LeBron James needs to take a year off.
Such whiskey legend who left a storied career as master distiller for Ireland's most famous whiskey to try his hand here in America and bring innovation to the spirits category. And his first whiskey, Keeper's Heart, is an absolute masterpiece. Keeper's Heart is the world's first Irish and American whiskey, bringing
Damn,
together
I went
the
up.
best of these two distinct distilling
I just
styles
went
in
up
one celebrated
88
spirit.
power
It's
on
so
my main
good, in
hero.
fact, their 10-year-old whiskey was recently named World's Best Irish Whiskey by the Tasting Alliance. Based on the awards it continues to bring home, it's unlike anything the world has ever tasted before, in the best possible way. Keeper's Heart brings the boldness of American whiskey and the smoothness of Irish whiskey to create a new experience worthy of the record books. Drink responsibly.
Hey, it's Willard and Dibs reminding you that Safeway is a proud sponsor of the San Francisco 49ers, and I'm not sure if you
I'm
heard
250
Dibs,
power
but Champs are
below
having a big game.
the
Is that
suggested
happening? That is
for this.
happening, and it's exciting. Kind of like when you get a digital deal in your app, the Safeway app. Do you do that? Like you get the little picture, you take the shot of the digital deal, your phone.
My team has 4,300 power now. See? That's my team. This interface doesn't really show you easily. So 4,000, and then I have to press back to actually see, 4,520 is what it wants. So, well, let me click on it because I like this guy. This is custom. Yo, where's the motherfucker at? See, there he is. There. This guy, I like that guy. I already fought him once. I had one fight versus him. This is the first time I ever died in the game. And I was at least 600 total power less than I was. Well, 800 power. So I went up at like 800 power. I just need to squeeze another 250 onto my fourth best character, because obviously the fourth best character is still under 1,000, and everybody needs to average 1.2 thousand. Back to the radio.
UCSF has programs to optimize an athlete's performance and the latest advancements to
Their own commercials.
sports injuries. Locations throughout the Bay Area, Marin, Baldwin Creek, Redwood Shores.
Raider Nation. Let's go, Raider Nation. Are you ready for some football? Are you ready for some football?
And for the ones who master the art of keeping business moving. We offer industrial grade supplies for every industry.
Today's energy acquisition EXP cap has been reached. I cannot go up any higher. If I do quest, it says if I do this quest, I will not gain experience. See that? Guys, I hit the cap. I went up too fast. I'm just too good at the damn game, man. Oh well. Catch your ass up. Good luck. Good luck. Good luck. I'll be you better be giving that $50 up to get that better odds. It's still not too late. New players are joining every day. They had 100 million pre-orders, man. 100 million pre-orders or some shit. The plot of this game is about the Paradisers attacking Paradise Town, which is exactly the same as attacking Las Vegas. This game is all about going into Vegas and fighting in the streets, man. That's the same plot they had 2 years ago when I was playing it, because it's the same story. I don't watch the cartoon, I played the game. This game is like living the cartoon. I expected this level to be earlier in the game. I enjoy seeing the story unfold, kind of like Attack on Titan 2. This is very similar to Attack on Titan 2. Yeah. Which I believe I played for 30 days on my show. I have 30 episodes in a row. But when I go back and I look for my shit, I can't always find my Attack on Titan streams. Sorry.
They didn't call the final round yesterday, knowing how awful the forecast was, that they didn't do what NASCAR did and in advance say, you know what, we're just not going to be.
I don't know what they're talking about now.
When he mentioned gale force winds, it is currently not only rain showers in Monterey, California, but windy to say the least. 33-mile-an-hour winds. It's not like it's 30 degrees or anything. It's 58 degrees, but 33-mile-an-hour winds. And of course, the golf course was soggy, and they're saying they're going to get the final round in tomorrow. Good luck with that, because it's probably not going to stop raining tomorrow. But anyway, that's the background of all of this. And yes, Mark is in Northern California. We will talk Super Bowl. I did specifically to you, Kyle, want to ask one trivia question that I came across, because this tends to come out every year before the Super Bowl, of colleges who have had a player on a Super Bowl winning team. What college would you say has had a player on the most Super Bowl winners? So out of 58 years,
Wisconsin.
the leader on this list has had a
Penn State?
Super Bowl winning player from their school 38 times in the 58. Well, this will be Super Bowl 58. What school would you say is at the top of that list?
It pains me to guess this school, but
Important
thinking,
list.
You know, kind of college football tradition. Who has the most guys in the NFL? Just using sheer numbers.
Wisconsin.
I'd love love to go with my Irish, but I think it's one of our rivals in USC, the Trojans.
In fact, it is two of your rivals. USC is second on the list, and Michigan is number one on the
Yeah,
list.
that's a tough question for me. I don't like either one.
Sorry about that. Michigan, with 38 times, has had a player or players on Super Bowl winners. USC 35 of the years, and Penn State 35 of the years, and then Notre Dame 34. So once we get into this Super Bowl
Well, I picked
matchup,
Penn
we've got
State.
a USC guy that we assume Sam Darnold is not getting into this game for the 49ers, but San Francisco's kicker is a rookie from Michigan, Jake Moody. So if you look at the list, Michigan a different list, just appearing in a Super Bowl, Michigan can move into a tie. For
Is Jake Moody related to
most
Ryan
Super Bowls with a
Moody,
player from that
YouTube?
school just appearing, tie USC on that list. And yes, we expect Jake Moody to kick. Let's get to the nuts and bolts of the game being in Las Vegas. This is probably going to be one of the many things that gets talked about, obviously with a full week toward the game and the media arriving. And then, by the way, if people aren't aware, usually I think it was Friday, wasn't the commissioner's press conference late in the week, and then they moved it up, and now I've heard it's going to be Monday, and it's invitation only, and so it makes the layman think that the NFL, specifically the commissioner of the NFL, is not interested in hard questions because they're almost hand-picking the audience because he's gotten hard questions in recent years. Are you with me on this?
Yeah, it's funny you say that. And when the Super Bowl was in Minneapolis, we had Super Bowl 52 in February of 2018. My wife Jordan and I do a ton of work with the University of Minnesota Masonic Children's Hospital, and
Masons.
we wanted to do something
Oh, the
really
Masons?
fun for
Of course
the patients.
you
know, the
do.
Super Bowl was there. There was so much excitement around it. Obviously, we were one game away from being the first team to play in our own Super Bowl, so we're kind of preparing
Kinda
to
special.
be there, and then abruptly have those plans change with a loss in the NFC Championship game. But one of the things we did, we had a press conference in like one of the big meeting rooms at the hospital where Brett Favre was there, one of my college teammates.
I got
Michael
13
Floyd,
friends
one
on
of
my
high
friends
school
list,
buddies,
which is
Eric
not
Wood,
bad.
Who was a center in the Buffalo Bills and a Pro
Yeah.
Bowler. We all sat up there like a press conference for the Super Bowl, and the patients got to ask the questions. So it kind of reminds me of that. Like the hard questions I was getting from them were like, "What's my favorite meal?" And if I didn't answer it to their liking,
Pizza
I
Party!
gave you a little snarl.
Hey, I'm friends with Pizza Party.
Appreciate your answer.
I'm One Punch
So,
Man.
it's interesting, obviously with the Super Bowl being in Vegas, there's so much. It took so long for pro sports to get there, being that, it is Vegas for a reason. It's the gambling mecca of the world. Nothing has become bigger than sports betting. I think back in the second to last week of the year, when Mark and I were talking about the Dallas-Detroit game and the issues with Brad Allen. And, you don't oftentimes hear the NFL talk about...
I just got an achievement
It's one
for
of those
10
things,
friends.
It's not like the NBA. And you're talking about the 2-point conversion that wasn't, and therefore Detroit wasn't the 1 seed. San Francisco was, as it turned out.
Correct. Yeah, and it's one of those things, like, they don't have to talk to the media. They're never really held accountable. The league certainly never comments on the officiating. It's like one of those things, like, if we just don't say anything, people won't talk about it. They'll forget about it. And, throughout the year, we had the Kansas City Green Bay game, all that kind of stuff, and all of a sudden you start to hear rumblings coming out from the league side, like, oh, maybe this officiating is something we have to look into. And I made the point that night that it's no longer about the Detroit Lions and the Dallas Cowboys. Ultimately, for the league and all of us that are involved in the league, we think that's the case. But it's really now about the millions of fans who are putting money on that game. And
49ers.
The people who had the Detroit Lions, the people that put the millions
Did
of
you see what
dollars
my
on the
name is
Detroit
in One
Lions
Punch
and the
Man?
money line in that game, who ultimately lost their bet because of a referee's inability to do his job. That's why you have problems, and that's why fans are like, hold on a second, like, this is no longer, hey, the guys are big and fast and the game's fast and
Wise
the plays
man,
are happening, bang bang, and we weren't able to make a decision. And then when you slow it down replay, it's easier. You know, this was simply someone who just didn't do his job, and it cost a lot of sports bettors a lot of money. And so this whole Vegas
49
Super Bowl thing will
laws.
definitely be interesting, as I'm sure
I'm
gambling
on, I'm on
and
the
sports betting is something
Oceanic
that will be
servers.
talked about.
And I'll even broaden the definition of sports bettors because fantasy football has been popular for so many years, even before gambling has gone into some of these new states in recent years. And
I left a
obviously,
like.
Fantasy football does involve money, maybe not
Come
weekly
on
changing
now.
hands between friends.
Show
but
the
you know
channel
where
some
we're going with
love
this.
and
What you
subscribe.
said, somebody might react, oh, what do
And
they care
hit
about
the
Oh,
bell.
absolutely, the NFL is obligated to care because they now have gambling sponsorships. There's an official whatever of the NFL
Whatever.
in all these other departments of commerce and now in the gambling space as well. So absolutely,
David
they
Lombardi
have to
making
care.
shorts.
You cannot
Yeah,
sweep this
2
under the rug.
likes.
And
I
what
got 2
as a
likes.
sports fan have
Can I get
always wanted is
3?
the belief in my game. You hear the expression, the integrity of the game. That's a real thing. That must be there for an entertainment product like professional sports because if people
Character
aren't
child.
believing the product, I know pro wrestling is a popular thing of its own, but they're not believing the product in the same way that they're believing the NFL. You can hear what I'm saying with this. Don't screw around with my game. If you want an official gambling sponsor of your league, whatever, take the money, all of that. But if
Take
it starts
the money.
getting into my game,
Get in
I
my
want
game?
the up and up game that I've always gotten on Sundays. If you screw around with that,
Screw
then
around
I'm
with
ticked as a
mine?
fan.
And don't screw with our show.
Don't screw with our
Don't
show,
screw
man.
with our show, Weather. You get out of my way, Weather.
You get out of my
Yeah,
way.
I loved your line. I listened to you on my way over where you were
Listen,
like, he's
I'll
gonna
read your shit
relocate,
later.
but it's still gonna be in Northern California. I'm like, oh God, he's right. But hang on.
Nice, my
I
power's
think
going
we're
up.
Okay
That
for
sounds
the
good,
moment.
yeah.
Fingers crossed. Why don't we find
Ooh,
out
my
what's
power
trending,
went up.
Steve? Let's do that.
Just in time for you.
I think I went up
to
40.
whoever's doing the updates tonight.
Who is that guy?
Well, there was a classic Pro Bowl game, of course, to talk about today. Who doesn't like watching
Yeah,
flag football for
Pro
3 hours?
Bowl.
But in Orlando, the final score was
Orla-
64-59 NFC as Baker Mayfield was offensive MVP. So there. Kansas City Chiefs and San Francisco 49ers each travel to Vegas tonight. The Super Bowl is
Right
next
now?
Sunday in Vegas. Of course, full coverage live here. In fact, we so
Partial
look forward
coverage
to this
here.
every year. The guys that are after you, Chris Plank and Artie Spaniard, usually get selected by the bosses to be the show on during the Super Bowl game. It is so fun to be live on the air during the game of the year, and it's the only thing going on. And even if it weren't, it's the only thing we're going to be talking about. It's a sensational day. So join
I'm
us if
4
you can.
power
San Francisco,
underneath the recommended.
Kansas City, Super Bowl
I have
58.
4,516. It says 4,520.
By the way, the Jets and Giants Stadium will host
So,
the World Cup
if
final
I breathe on it.
2026. More on that in a minute.
If I
We do
breathe
have
on it.
NBA in progress. The Clippers are leading with a second.
If I breathe on it, I'll be ready for it. Alright, that's a nice place to be. Checking the battery, 98% on the iPad.